What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Pitching Ninja's Filthiest Pitches of the Day. I am Pitching Ninja, and I'm here with a sexy Will Leahey. What's happening, Will?
That's right, Ninja. So yesterday, Ronel Blanco got a 10-game suspension for the use of sticky stuff in the game against the A's the other day. What an up-and-down season from this guy, huh? The first start of the year, like his sixth start ever, he threw a no-hitter, and then 7 games later, he's getting tossed for being scum. What do you think, Ninja?
I don't think he's scum. I agree with the rule. I get the rule. Like, we want to crack down on people using sticky stuff, and they should, because it's cheating. It's against the rules, and we let it go unchecked too long. But from all accounts, all he was doing was putting rosin on his other arm because he was sweating. Rosin's a legal substance. Some of it, when you're sweating, may drip down into your glove because that's his glove hand. And the umpire reached way down into his glove, said, "Oh, this is the stickiest thing I ever felt, blah, blah, blah." There's no showing that his spin rates were up. They weren't, or that he repeatedly did this on purpose. He just was sweating and used it to kind of calm it down. So I get it. Rules are rules. Suspensions are suspensions. I don't think he's scum, and I don't think it had anything to do with his performance in any game, period, because he's a changeup guy. Changeups, you want lower spin rate. You want your hand not to be sticky. Now we're going to start with our whip around the league. Trevor Rogers had 6 Ks and 5 scoreless innings. A good outing for Trevor Rogers. He had these fastballs, sliders, and dirty changeups. He faced Casey Mize, who had 6 Ks and 6 innings, giving up 2 runs. These fastballs, this paint dish slider, and this knuckle curve, and this splitter for a sword. And I think his splitter is his best pitch. Love Casey Mize's splitter. Pretty good outing for him, too. Austin Gomber had 5 Ks and 6 scoreless innings. He had this fastball, slider, and curveballs. And I do like Gomber's curveballs. They have a ton of drop to him. He faced Michael King, who had 7 Ks and 5 1/3 innings, giving up 6 runs. Kind of an off outing for Michael King, who was previously dominant. He had this painted sinker, these sweepers, painted this sweeper front door, and got a sword with this one, as well as this changeup. Brian Wu, had 5 Ks and 5 1/3 innings, giving up 1 run. He had these fastballs that Ric Flair enjoyed. He had this sweeper for a sword, and then painted these sliders. If there's anything the Wu-Tang Clan knows, it's command rules everything around me. And you know what? As a bonus, here's Brian Wu's spiked slider grip.
I go hook on the bottom seam here, so like really get into it, and then spike it, and then thumb here.
Wu faced Alec Marsh, who had 7 Ks and 5 innings, giving up 1 run. Had these fastballs for a strike him out, throw him out, and then had this changeup for a strike him out, not throw him out, and this curveball. Griffin Canning had 5 Ks and 6 innings, giving up 1 run, and his fastball, changeup, and breaking ball for a sword. He faced Lance Lynn, who had 5 Ks in 5 innings, giving up 4 runs. Lance Lynn had this fastball, and then I've heard of FU fastballs, but here's an F me slider. You go, Lance.
Strikeout of Moniak.
Logan Webb had 5 Ks and 6 scoreless innings, giving up 3 hits. His ERA right now is 3.03. He had these 2-seamers and changeup. He faced Eliezer Hernandez, who had 3 Ks and 6 innings, giving up 3 runs. And here's a home plate view of his cutters and fastball. Robert Gasser had 2 Ks and 5 innings, giving up 1 run. He had these elevated fastballs. He faced Martin Perez, who had 4 Ks and 5 innings, giving up 9 runs, and had this cutter. Brandon Pfaadt, no relation to Robert Gasser, because his name's Pfaadt, not Fart, guys. Anyway, Brandon Pfaadt had 9 Ks in 7 innings, giving up 1 run. He had these sinkers, changeups, and filthy sweepers. Love his sweepers here. When he's on, those things are nasty. And I love this by Marte playing defense here, where he gives this little shimmy before throwing the ball to first base. Talk about fielding with some flair. I love it. Pfaadt faced Andrew Abbott, who had 4 Ks in 7 innings, giving up 1 run, and this fastball, changeup, and curveball. John Gray had 3 Ks and 6 1/3 scoreless innings. He had this fastball and slider, and really kind of dominated with those 2 pitches. It's not really that dominant, to be honest. He only had 3 Ks, but he did keep them off balance. He faced Cookie Carrasco at 3 Ks in 5 innings, giving up 2 runs, and had this curveball. Pablo Lopez had 3 Ks in 6 1/3 innings, giving up 3 runs. His ERA right now is 3.93, but yet he's still the 4th favorite for the AL Cy Young at plus 1,200. He had this fastball and curveball, and he faced Marcus Stroman, who had 2 Ks and 6 scoreless innings. Stroman's ERA is 3.33, which is a good bit lower than Pablo Lopez. So you'd think his Cy Young Award odds were kind of close to Lopez. No, they're not. Marcus Stroman is plus 10,000 for the AL Cy Young. Just shows Stroh's stuff isn't viewed as dominant as Pablo Lopez's stuff, and strikeouts are sexier than just getting outs. Stroman actually outdueled Lopez here and had this slider and splitter. And then I did an overlay of his slider and splitter, and you can see how well he tunnels them, how deceptive that is, and how he gets a swing and miss because of that tunneling. Speaking of deception, Ranger Suarez had 3 Ks in 5 innings, giving up no earned runs. Rangers' ERA right now is 1.37. He's also 8-0. He had this elevated fastball, this painted sinker, this curveball, and had 4 swings and misses on his changeup. His changeup is his best pitch. Hitters are only hitting .029 against his changeup with a 35% whiff rate this year. And his curveball is really good too. He has a 147 batting average against that with a 35% whiff rate. He's one of those guys that's just a hard guy to explain why he's so good. Ranger's been great this year, 4th favorite for the NL Cy Young. So Ranger is getting recognized for his stud-like behavior. I do love that because he is one of those guys that's really tough to explain why he's so good. He just keeps hitters off balance. He's got some deception in his game and isn't afraid to attack the zone. He's just a pitcher. He faced Joey Lucchesi, who had 2 Ks in 4 1/3 innings, giving up 5 runs, and had this churve. Why is it called a churve? Because he throws a curveball with a changeup grip. Don't ask me why, it just does. Javier Assad had 7 Ks and 6 scoreless innings, giving up only 4 hits. Assad's ERA right now is 1.49. He had this painted fastball, these 2-seamers, and curveballs. Assad is another one of those guys, a lot like Ranger Suarez, pitching from the other side, but it's very tough to explain why Javier Assad is so good. And I think this is a flaw with scouting, maybe, or with actually just our observation of baseball. It shows why pitchers focus on measurable stuff, because in scouting, if you have a high velo fastball or you have a huge spin rate, it's very easy to go into the GM and say, we need to sign this guy because he throws gas, spins the ball really well, and you have numbers to back it up. And a lot of GMs today are numbers guys. If you go into the GM and say, this guy just pitches, well, that's your judgment. And if you're wrong, it's your head. So I understand why this is tough and why pitchers actually focus on measurable stuff. GMs, again, a lot of these guys are business school guys. They love their numbers. But how do you get the guys that just pitch? I do think this is a flaw in what we do until we can measure deception and pitchability. Like how many times this guy hits his spot, how long it takes hitters to pick the ball up. And a lot of the stuff we're doing right now with bat tracking in Baseball Savant, I think is going to go a long way to getting you there. You can measure now the guys delay in their swings, or maybe they shorten up against this guy. Maybe they just don't take as big a hacks. Whatever it is, I think we're going to be able to figure out a little bit more in terms of deception. Maybe that'll help some of these guys get signed. Assad faced Charlie Morton, who had 4 Ks in 3 innings, giving up 3 earned runs, and had these curveballs. Taj Bradley had 6 Ks in 5 innings, giving up 2 runs. He had this fastball, cutter, and splitter. He faced Tanner Houck, who had 7 Ks in 5 2/3 innings, giving up 1 earned run. Had this painted 2-seamer, this painted slider, this splitter, and this absolutely wicked slider that had 17 inches of break and picked up the sword. Framber Valdez had 8 Ks and 7 scoreless innings, giving up 2 hits. He had these curveballs and changeups. It looked really good yesterday. He faced Aaron Brooks, who had 5 Ks and 7 innings, giving up 3 runs, and had these sliders. Yusei Kikuchi had 9 Ks and 4 1/3 innings, giving up 1 run. He had these fastballs and sliders, including this wipeout slider, and then had these changeups and had a little fist pump. Love myself some fired up Kikuchi. Kikuchi's ERA right now is 2.6, and he's actually been really good this year. If you haven't been watching him, you should. He faced Kyle Bradish, who had 3 Ks in 4 innings, giving up 2 runs. And Bradish had these pretty front door two-seamers.
Ninja, that actually brings us to our dong of the day. And we got a walk-off dong here from Adley Rushman. And it actually beats out Aaron Judge's 467-foot blast, which I think is the 3rd longest of the season. But you're getting 3rd. You're not getting the dong of the day. But Rushman, I got a special place in my heart for walk-offs. And also the fact that they were losing when he hit this adds a little juice there. The one gripe is the fan, you got to catch this, man. Whether you got to bring the glove to the game or not. And for the record, Ninja, I am pro bringing a glove to the game. People think it's lame. People make fun of guys. If this guy brought a glove to the game, he's going home with the ball, and he's going home with the chicks, Ninja. So bring a glove to the game and catch the damn ball.
Garrett Crochet had 6 Ks and 5 scoreless innings and may have been my filthiest pitcher of the day. I have a warm spot in my heart for Garrett Crochet just because he's freaking filthy. And again, this is stuff that you can judge based on the numbers. This elevated fastball, this changeup, and these cutters. Nasty stuff by Garrett Crochet. And he faced Patrick Corbin, who had no Ks in 5 2/3 innings, giving up 2 runs. And since he had no Ks, I have nothing for you. Because Corbin actually pitched well yesterday, I don't make the rules, I just enforce them.
Completely make the rules, Ninja.
I do. Now onto my filthiest relievers. Cam Boozer K'd the side with fastballs and curveballs. Justin Lawrence had this sweeper. Jordan Leisure had this leisurely heat. Zach Pop had a 97-mile-an-hour sinker. Nasty stuff. And Zach Pop's stuff is nasty. Chris Roycroft. No, this is not one of Logan Roy's companies in succession. Had these fastballs. Luke Weaver had this cutter, fastball, and curveball. And I thought I'd compare his mechanics last year with his mechanics this year. This year's mechanics are on the left. Last year's are on the right. And look how much he simplified his mechanics. This can help with command because he has fewer moving parts. I thought it was a pretty big change and thought I'd point it out to you. Kirby Yates had these fastballs. Camilo Duvall had this 102-mile-an-hour heater and this slider. And Michael Kopech had these heaters. David Fletcher pitched for the Gwinnett Stripers, and check out these knuckleballs. Yes, this is infielder David Fletcher, formerly of the Angels. He actually struck out the side. Does he have a career as a knuckleball pitcher? Maybe. And this is hilarious. You hit the batter on the arm with a knuckleball, and basically, he's dead. Gone. See ya. My top 5 filthiest pitches of the day yesterday. At number 5, I have David Robertson's wicked backdoor cutter. Look at the movement on this. It looks like it's going to be off the plate and then zip, catches the plate. At number 4, we have Fernando Cruz's splitter. I mean, he just broke Marte here. Look at that. At number 3, we have Yusei Kikuchi's wipeout slider. At number 2, I have Tanner Houck and his sweeper for a sword. And at number 1, I have Andres Munoz, who was disgusting yesterday. He had this two-seamer with 18 inches of break. I mean, look at that thing. This elevated 100 that got a sword, as well as this wicked slider. And now, my pitching ninja moment of zen. Do you guys think Chipper should have gotten ejected for this? Come on.
You want to know what got me tossed? I complimented his porn stash. That's exactly what I said to him.
My picks of the day today are a 4-leg parlay. I'm going to start with Cooper Criswell for 4 Ks or more, then take Joe Ryan for 6 Ks or more, take Jared Jones for 6 Ks or more, and top it off with Tyler Glasnow for 7 Ks or more. What would your picks of the day be?